Hey, how you doing? Just wanted to share a little bit about some stuff I've been reading. Tapping into your creative source, and then I'll share some stuff I've been working on, as well as a little story about voicemail. So I can't recommend this book highly enough. It's The Artist's Way by Julia Cameron. I've been working through it. It's like a 12-week kind of a program. I haven't actually been doing it on schedule, but anyway, I've been getting a lot from it, so I just want to share something with you. It's about tapping into your creative source and relying on that more so than the approval of other people. As we come to trust and love our internal guide, that's like creative source, we lose our fear of intimacy because we no longer confuse our intimate others with the higher power we are coming to know. In short, we are learning to give up idolatry, the worshipful dependency on any person, place, or thing. Instead, we place our dependency on the source itself. The source meets our needs through people, places, and things. So it's so easy to get caught up in like a worldly, kind of earthly idea of success, like finances or awards or the approval of other people. And that's just a losing battle. It's really important to kind of remove that burden of your creativity from your ego and place it onto a higher power, on something beyond yourself, so that you're more of a route that creativity flows through. Anyway, it's really freeing and makes you a safer person to be around, because you have no longer this need for other people to be your source of validation. The people, places, and things can be very comforting to you, but they're not the source itself. So the source can use those things. And there's just a really fundamental difference there. I hope I've kind of articulated it somewhat well. Anyway, I want to encourage you to think about that as you create and work, and kind of telling you so that I help remind myself. But anyways, I'm going to boot up my computer and show you guys some what I'm working on. So anyways, working today on a library piece. You know, it stretched my musical palette. Right now I'm doing this piece that's supposed to be inspired by Deadpool 2. Junkie XL's amazing score for that film. Not my wheelhouse, but I'm learning a lot about synths, samples, big percussion, tying all that stuff together, using a little bit of orchestral elements. I'm way more at home with the orchestra. Okay, where did it go? So I'll bring that up. In the meantime, I've been having a lot of trouble with my voicemail, so I fixed it finally, or I was able to get my voicemails, and lo and behold, amongst just normal kind of family things and then telemarketers, whatever, there was a filmmaker who I haven't spoken to in the longest time, really recently had a voicemail that I had missed. I didn't even see the missed call. Really nice guy. So I'm very excited to call him back. Who knows what's going on there, if there's a project, if there's not, at least someone to keep up with, and just the fact that he thought of me is very encouraging. Also, an email from someone who's doing a crowdfunding for his first feature film. And so I just decided to say hey and offer to be helpful in post-production if I can, if he hasn't found a composer yet. Who knows? Maybe something will come of that, maybe nothing. But I think that's just the name of the game. That's just the process, just keeping up with people. And you never know what's going to come. I've gotten jobs from the most random places, from Craigslist. One of my coolest jobs came from Craigslist. I'll tell you more about that at some point. And then just through people that I randomly meet, I decided to say yes to this thing that a friend was doing, where he just needed like an extra to stand in for this little sizzle reel that he was making for his project. So I was basically an actor, not really doing much, just standing there. And through that, I met a couple of guys who work on their own projects, and that turned into actual jobs. So you just never know where work's going to come from. And in the meantime, you do things to stay busy, like write music for a library, expand your repertoire, try to imitate composers that you don't necessarily fit into, genres that you don't necessarily fit into. So that's what I'm doing now. This thing's almost up. So I'll show you a couple things that I'm learning about synths. Doing a lot of automation. I think it's worth it with, you know, automating filters. You know, trying to customize things, really shape some phrases. So I'll show you this one sound that I really like. Now, originally on this piece, I crafted it around this low brass motif, sent it into the guy, and basically he said, hey, this whole thing that you've based your entire track on, this low brass thing, it's not really working. So just completely remove that and fill it in with synths and hits and things like that. So that was not a fun email to get, but it's okay. Let it sink in, accept the pain, and move on from it, and try to get into an emotional state where you can take in the positive critique and learn from it. So here's the beginning. So my favorite part is, favorite element is that that electric kind of like distorted sounding thing. It's from a Nexus. It's a Nexus patch. It's an expansion hardstyle PD. What does it stand for? Lead pad. Okay, drive pad. And then that automation happening that kind of helps it grow. Let's see what that is. That's in. I'm using Logic, and that's in the automation. I'll come back. Where'd it go? Here it is. In the MIDI automation, I think it's just the modulation. That's all it is. So I just used the mod wheel, but recorded it. You know, just makes such a big difference. And sometimes automation just looks like using velocity too. There's this kind of high-pitched thing happening. So I just use velocity, really quiet in the middle, and then big. Really quiet at the beginning, big in the middle, and then quiet again at the end. You can use automation to do that, or just the function of velocity on the keyboard. Pull back. Anyway, so in lieu of that big brass thing, I've got this. So way less melodic material than I had before, but just this sort of like vibe going on. But that's kind of the centerpiece, and then that electric drive thing is just sort of the like icing on the cake for me. Anyway, that's kind of what I've been working on today. Automation, use it, and check your voicemails. You never know what's going to be there. All right, guys, take care. Bye.